all of your suggestions. The 6th episode. For those that don't know, we do these videos for topics that don't deserve a whole video, and we take you guys' suggestions and we make an episode of all of your suggestions. First, let's go to the center of the universe. Do you know where the center of the universe is? In Oklahoma. Right here. But this thing has nothing to do with the universe, and the name is pretty fake. But the reason they call this the center of the universe is because it's built in a way that if you stand in the middle and make any type of noise, it will echo back at you. This is the same thing as the Shah Mosque in Iran. But in the mosque, the noise is much louder. They designed this in a way that the noise comes right back at you. And that's as long as you stand in the middle right there. It's kind of like having a microphone without any microphone. The next suggestion is the Magnetar. This is basically a neutron star with a really strong magnetic field. The first gamma explosion that happened in 1979 was founded, and it was from a magnetar. The magnetar is SGR 1806-20. This is a neutron star, and it has a distance of 50,000 light years from Earth. The explosion happened on this neutron star, and in 2004, it got to Earth. In 1/10 of a second, this explosion caused so much energy that our sun produced in the first 100,000 years of its life. 1/10 of a second compared to 100,000 years. This was the brightest thing outside of the solar system that was ever seen. If this explosion happened 10 light years away from Earth, not only would all of the ozone layer be destroyed, the Earth would be in a position that atom bombs have gone off. Basically, it would burn Earth. This is the rendered footage of the gamma ray explosion, and the star was called SGR 1806-20. The next suggestion, the theory of Masaru Emoto. This is a very famous non-scientific theory. Emoto believes when water is freezing, whatever type of energy you give it, you will change the way it forms. Not electric or magnetic field energy. He says an energy of the mind. And if you're by something that's freezing and you think of whatever you're thinking, the ice will form in a different way. Masaru Emoto says that if you're thinking about love, the ice that's forming is gonna be a lot thicker and more complex. This guy was a businessman, and he was not a scientific person at all. But his theory about the ice is famous all over the world. I think we gotta go sit in the freezer and see how ice is forming. The next suggestion, Purple Earth Hypothesis. This hypothesis says that in the beginning of its life, the Earth was purple, not blue and green. As you guys know, the Earth has an age of 4.5 billion years. But from the beginning, it didn't have an atmosphere, ozone layer, and it didn't have oxygen. And that is why some scientists believe until the age of 2.5 billion, the Earth was actually purple. If you're in space and you go back in time 2 billion years, you'll see a purple planet with nothing living on it. But later, it will form an ozone layer, form oxygen, the Earth gets water, and the purple color fades away. The next suggestion you guys gave us is to explain the subconscious mind. In our minds, there is a bank of information. Basically, what you've learned from day one, it's in that bank. But there's no way you could access all that information whenever you want. It could be your beliefs, your experiences, part of your memory, all the skills you have. and everything that you've seen in your whole life, heard in your life, or ever thought about it is in your subconscious mind. But the information in this bank is not accessible at all times, and you cannot access it like a Google search whenever you want. You could call this bank the subconscious mind. It tells you some stuff, but not everything. Our brain is a very complicated technology, and to this day, we still haven't figured it out completely. The next suggestion, information about the biggest crocodile that was measured, Lolong. Lolong was a saltwater crocodile, and it was very large, 6 meters and 17 centimeters to be exact. And it weighed 1,075 kilograms, so it was kind of a monster. This crocodile was very aggressive, and in the area that it lived, whenever they wanted to move them somewhere from there to there, it was very hard and troublesome. Lolong dies very young, because a saltwater crocodile should live around 70 to 80 years old. But at the age of 50, Lolong dies of cardiac arrest. And that's probably because it was very aggressive, angry, and heavy. This is the biggest crocodile that has been measured. The skeleton of this animal has been preserved, and it's in the Philippines National Museum. They also preserved the skin, and that's in the same museum in the Philippines. The next suggestion, Ice 7. In the year 2017, when they were digging up some diamonds, they found a piece of ice that didn't look like it belonged to Earth, and it's kind of like a space ice. The weird part about this ice is that the shape and the look of it was never seen on Earth. You could probably make this ice in a lab or something, but outside in nature, it was unbelievable. The difference between Ice 7 and regular ice is that Ice 7 is 1.5 more dense than regular ice, and the way it's formed is a lot different. Regular ice has a name of Ice 1, and the atoms are formed like this. But in Ice 7, the atoms are formed like this. They say Ice 7 forming on Earth is very unlikely. Scientists believe that Ice 7 could be found in the solar system. Places like Enceladus, one of Saturn's moon, or one of Jupiter's moons, Europa, and Saturn's biggest moon, Titan. Either way, nobody expected to find this right here on Earth. Someone suggested to talk about the words underneath your eyes. They say the best way to get rid of these words are creams. They say use imiquimod cream, and the other one is benzoyl peroxide. You could also freeze them, and you could laser them as well. There's also a liquid drug that could be used as well. These things that we're saying are without the doctor's order, and I'm not a doctor to tell you how to do this and not do this. So if you have any questions, please talk to a doctor. But let's leave the word and go to space. The good news is that the James Webb has left the facility. It's on a ship and is going to France to be launched. They have to attach this thing to a rocket and send it into space. It is planned in 2 months, around December 18th, 2021, for James Webb to be launched into space. Some of you suggest to talk about that 13-year-old that hacked Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram. We have to say that this was a rumor. There were no 13-year-olds, and it's not clear who it was. These 3 huge companies have not come forward to say who it was either. So the hacker is not found.